The Galactic Council's Grand Assembly Hall on Centauri Prime was arguably the most secure location in known space. Its quantum-shielded walls had withstood the test of time for over 10,000 years, hosting countless meetings that shaped the destiny of hundreds of civilizations. Today, those ancient walls witnessed something unprecedented: fear in the eyes of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. High Counselor Zixtal of the Arcturus Dominion stood before the emergency session, his crystalline form pulsing with agitation. The humans had done what? He demanded, his translated voice carrying notes of disbelief and rage. They bypassed our entire defense grid, High Counselor, the young Meridian officer reported, her bioluminescent patterns flickering with anxiety. A human vessel appeared in the heart of the Arcturus system. No warnings, no quantum wake, no subspace distortion. It simply manifested. Murmurs of disbelief rippled through the assembled representatives of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. For centuries, they had watched humanity with a mixture of amusement and condescension. The humans were considered barely more than clever primitives, a species that had only recently mastered basic fusion power and achieved limited interplanetary travel within their own system. Impossible, declared Ambassador Kavov of the Tellarite Consensus, his tentacles writhing in agitation. Their most advanced ships still rely on crude antimatter drives. We monitored their latest capital ship construction just 3 cycles ago. They cannot possibly. The ambassador's protest was cut short as every display in the chamber suddenly activated, showing a single vessel hanging in space. It was unlike anything the Council had ever seen. A massive ship that seemed to bend light around its hull, its true dimensions impossible to measure. No visible weapons, no conventional drive systems, just smooth surfaces that somehow managed to look both solid and fluid at the same time. A communication request flashed across the screens. After a moment of tense deliberation, High Counselor Zixtal authorized the transmission. The holographic figure that appeared in the center of the chamber was human. A woman with dark skin and silver-streaked hair, wearing a simple black uniform bearing no insignia. "I am Admiral Helena Chen of the Earth vessel Artemis," she announced, her voice carrying an authority that silenced the chamber. "For centuries, you've watched us, studied us, and dismissed us as primitives. That ends today." The Admiral's hologram gestured, and the displays showed a cascade of images. Massive structures hidden beneath the surface of Mars, quantum computing arrays disguised as primitive solar farms, and weapons platforms masquerading as amateur communication satellites. While you mocked our crude fusion reactors, we perfected zero-point energy extraction, Chen continued. While you laughed at our clumsy attempts at AI, we achieved true machine consciousness. While you dismissed our primitive space force, we built ships that could traverse the galaxy in the blink of an eye. But why? Zixtal managed to ask. Why maintain this deception? Because we discovered something you missed, Chen replied, her expression growing grave. Something that hunts advanced civilizations. We detected them 20 years ago. The harvesters. They're drawn to quantum signatures of highly advanced technology. Every civilization that openly flaunts their advancement becomes a target. We've watched it happen in neighboring galaxies. The chamber erupted in chaos as the implications sank in. The humans hadn't been primitive. They had been preparing, advancing in secret, developing technologies that the Council's greatest minds had thought impossible. The harvesters will reach this galaxy in exactly 1 solar year, Chen continued. We've spent decades preparing, building our defenses, and developing weapons that might stand a chance against them. But we can't face this threat alone. That's why we're here. The Artemis's hull began to shift, revealing layers of technology that defied understanding. Quantum matrices more advanced than anything the Council had ever seen. Spatial manipulation systems that made their best efforts look elementary. We're not here to mock you or seek revenge for your condescension, Chen said. We're here because survival requires unity. You have resources we need. We have technology you need. Together, we might stand a chance. High Counselor Zixtal's crystalline form pulsed with complex emotions. You ask us to trust you, after centuries of deception. No, Chen replied. We ask you to survive. The choice is yours, but time is running out. The harvesters are coming, and they don't care about trust or pride. They only care about consumption. As if to emphasize her point, the Artemis demonstrated its capabilities. In an instant, it created a localized time dilation field that caused several seconds to pass inside the chamber while days passed outside. The Council witnessed the destruction of an uninhabited system at the galaxy's edge, consumed by something that defied description. When time normalized, Chen's expression was resolute. That was a glimpse of our future. You can continue to dismiss humanity as primitive, or you can accept that your assumptions about us were wrong. Either way, the threat is real, and time is running out. The chamber fell silent as the weight of the situation settled over the assembled representatives. Humanity hadn't just caught up to the galactic community, they had surpassed them, all while maintaining a masterful deception that had fooled the most advanced civilizations in known space. In the space around the council chamber, the Artemis pulsed with quiet power, its quantum state hull reflecting the light of a billion stars. It was no longer just a ship. It was a testament to human ingenuity and foresight, and perhaps the galaxy's only hope for survival. High Counselor Zixtal rose from his seat, his crystalline form emanating patterns that indicated a momentous decision. Admiral Chen, the Council will hear your proposal. Tell us everything. As Chen began to outline humanity's preparations and plans, the assembled representatives realized they were witnessing the beginning of a new era. The primitives they had mocked for centuries were about to become their teachers, their protectors, and their best hope for survival against a threat they hadn't even known existed. The age of human deception was over. The age of galactic cooperation was about to begin, and not a moment too soon. Somewhere at the edge of the galaxy, an ancient and hungry darkness was stirring, drawn to the light of civilization like a moth to flame. In the depths of humanity's secret research facility beneath the Martian polar ice cap, Dr. Sarah Martinez stood before a holographic display showing the greatest deception in human history. The massive chamber, hidden 2 kilometers below the surface, hummed with the power of technology that would have made the galaxy's most advanced civilizations pause in disbelief. Project Looking Glass is still maintaining full coverage, she reported to the assembled members of Earth's Defense Council. Every primitive fusion reactor we've shown the galaxy is actually a quantum containment field, masking the zero-point energy harvesters beneath. The aliens are still seeing exactly what we want them to see. General David Chen, brother of Admiral Helena Chen, nodded in satisfaction. The deception had been his sister's brainchild, a plan so audacious that it had seemed impossible 20 years ago, and our failed attempts at AI development. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The quantum consciousness matrices are performing perfectly. Every time the Council's observation posts scan our networks, they see exactly what they expect. Clumsy attempts at machine learning, failed neural networks, and basic algorithmic processing. Meanwhile, our true AI systems are running the entire Sol System's defense grid, hidden in plain sight. The holographic display shifted to show Earth's solar system as it appeared to outside observers, a somewhat primitive civilization struggling with basic space travel and energy production. With a gesture, Sarah stripped away the carefully maintained illusion, revealing the truth beneath. Massive quantum arrays orbited in dimensional spaces just slightly out of phase with normal reality. Defense platforms disguised as communications satellites harbored weapons that could reshape space-time itself. Every crude fusion plant on Earth's surface was actually a node in a vast network of zero-point energy extractors, their true nature hidden behind layers of quantum camouflage. The Arcturus Dominion's latest survey rated us as a Class 3 civilization. Sarah continued. They believe we're at least 5 centuries away from achieving reliable quantum transportation. In reality, we've had working quantum gates for 15 years. Every primitive antimatter drive we test is actually a fully functional quantum slip drive operating at 0.001% capacity. The council members exchanged knowing looks. The deception had been necessary, crucial even, after humanity's first detection of the harvesters 20 years ago. That discovery had changed everything. "Show us the harvest of Andromeda," General Chen requested, his voice grave. The holographic display shifted again, showing recordings that had haunted humanity's leaders for 2 decades. The Andromeda Galaxy, humanity's nearest major galactic neighbor, had been home to thousands of advanced civilizations. Their quantum technology signatures had blazed across space like beacons, and then, one by one, they had gone dark. The recordings showed massive entities that defied conventional physics, moving between the stars like living voids, consuming everything in their path. Advanced civilizations, with technology far beyond what humanity had officially achieved, had fallen in days. Their quantum signatures had drawn the harvesters like moths to flame. The last transmission from Andromeda arrived 19 years, 8 months, and 14 days ago, Sarah said softly. "We watched an entire galaxy die while we worked in secret, building our defenses, preparing for the day they would reach the Milky Way." The display shifted again, showing the current state of humanity's true defensive capabilities. The Sol system was now the most heavily fortified location in known space, though none of their galactic neighbors had any idea. Every asteroid in the belt had been hollowed out and turned into a weapons platform or production facility. The gas giants hosted massive energy collection arrays, hidden from prying eyes by quantum camouflage. And now, one of the council members asked, "Now that Admiral Chen has revealed our true capabilities to the Galactic Council, now we implement Phase 2, General Chen replied. "The harvesters are coming. We've known that for 20 years, but we've used that time well. Every primitive technology we've shown the galaxy, every failed experiment, every clumsy attempt at advancement, it was all carefully calculated to hide our true progress." Sarah brought up new displays, showing the quantum signatures of various civilizations across the galaxy. The Arcturus Dominion, the Tellarite Consensus, the Meridian Collective. They all broadcast their quantum signatures proudly. It's why the harvesters will target them first. But we've learned to mask our signatures, to exist in a state of quantum uncertainty that makes us invisible to the harvesters' senses. And we can teach them to do the same, General Chen added. But first, they have to accept that humanity, the primitives they've mocked for centuries, might actually know something they don't. The council chamber fell silent as they contemplated the magnitude of what lay ahead. They had maintained the deception for 2 decades, advancing in secret while appearing primitive and unthreatening. Now, with the harvesters approaching, they would have to convince their arrogant galactic neighbors to accept help from a civilization they had long dismissed as beneath them. Admiral Chen's revelation at the Galactic Council was just the beginning, Sarah said, studying the quantum readings from the galaxy's edge. The hard part comes next, teaching them to hide, to mask their quantum signatures, to embrace the art of deception that humanity has perfected. General Chen's expression was grim but determined. They'll learn, or they'll die. The harvesters don't discriminate between the proud and the humble. They only care about the quantum signatures that mark advanced civilizations, signatures that we've learned to mask through decades of careful planning and sacrifice. As if to emphasize his point, the quantum sensors detected another disturbance at the galaxy's edge. Another sign that the harvesters were drawing closer. Humanity's great deception was over, but the true test was just beginning. They had fooled the galaxy for 20 years. Now they had to save it. The first harvester attack came 3 months earlier than humanity's most pessimistic predictions. At the edge of the Carina Arm, a massive void torn through space-time, consuming the quantum signatures of the proud Meridian Collective's outer colonies. Billions of lives winked out in moments, their advanced technology serving as a beacon for the cosmic predators they had dismissed as human propaganda. Admiral Helena Chen stood on the bridge of the Artemis, watching the quantum distortion readings with a mixture of dread and determination. Status of the evacuation fleet. The Meridians are resistant. Admiral, her XO, Commander James Rodriguez, reported with barely contained frustration. They insist their quantum shields will protect them. They're still broadcasting at full power. Helena closed her eyes for a moment, remembering the recordings from Andromeda. The Meridian's quantum shields, impressive as they were, would be about as effective as tissue paper against the harvesters. Show me. The main display activated, showing the Meridian defense fleet arranged in a precise geometric formation around their colony world of New Dawn. Their ships pulsed with quantum energy, each one a brilliant beacon in the darkness of space. Pride and arrogance, broadcasting their technological advancement to the cosmos, and to the horrors that hunted such advancement. They're going to get themselves killed, Helena muttered. Time to show them what humanity has been hiding all these years. Bring the Phantom Fleet online. Throughout the New Dawn system, space itself seemed to ripple and tear. Where there had been empty void moments before, hundreds of Earth vessels shimmered into existence. They had been there all along, hidden in quantum uncertainty states that made them invisible not just to the Meridians, but to the approaching harvesters as well. The Meridian command channel erupted with shocked exclamations and demands for explanation. Helena ignored them all, focusing on the void that was rapidly approaching the system. All ships, implement Protocol Omega. Quantum signature masking at maximum. Let's show them how humanity fights. The Earth fleet moved with impossible precision, their ships executing maneuvers that the Meridians had thought physically impossible. There were no fancy formations, no proud displays of power, just cold, lethal efficiency as they positioned themselves between the colony and the approaching threat. Admiral, Rodriguez called out, the harvester void is accelerating. Impact with the Meridian defense line in 3 minutes. Open a channel to the Meridian flagship, Helena ordered. The face that appeared on her screen was that of Supreme Commander Vixon, his bioluminescent patterns showing clear agitation and confusion. What is the meaning of this? He demanded. How dare you interfere with? Shut down your quantum systems now. Helena cut him off, her voice carrying the weight of 20 years of preparation for this moment. Your shields, your weapons, everything. Or you and your entire fleet will be dead in less than 3 minutes. You expect us to? Look at your sensors, Helena interrupted again. That void approaching your position. It's already consumed 3 of your outer colonies. Your quantum shields didn't even slow it down. Shut everything down. Something in her tone finally seemed to reach the Meridian commander. Perhaps it was the complete lack of fear in her voice, or the way the Earth fleet moved with such precise coordination. Whatever the reason, he gave the order. One by one, the brilliant quantum signatures of the Meridian ships dimmed and disappeared. Now watch, Helena said softly, and learn why humanity hid its true capabilities for so long. The harvester void burst into the system like a cosmic nightmare, a tear in reality that devoured light itself. It moved straight for where the Meridian quantum signatures had been strongest, only to find its prey had vanished. The Earth fleet remained in position, their ships existing in a state of quantum uncertainty that made them nearly invisible to both conventional sensors and the harvester's senses. All ships, execute attack pattern Sierra, Helena commanded. Show them what humanity's been working on for the past 20 years. The Earth fleet moved as one, their weapons finally revealing their true nature. Beams of concentrated zero-point energy lanced out, not at the void itself, but at the space around it. Reality buckled and warped as carefully calculated quantum effects created a cage of altered space-time around the harvester entity. By the first light, Vixon whispered, watching as the human ships executed maneuvers his best tacticians had thought impossible. All this time, you were capable of this. We've had 20 years to prepare, Helena replied, her attention focused on coordinating the attack. 20 years to develop weapons and tactics while the rest of the galaxy mocked our primitive technology. Now you understand why we kept it hidden. The Harvester void right in its quantum cage, trying to break free. But humanity had studied these entities for 2 decades, learning their weaknesses, developing countermeasures. The cage held. Final phase, Helena ordered. All ships, quantum convergence on my mark. The Earth fleet's formation shifted, their ships moving into a complex 3-dimensional pattern that the Meridian tacticians couldn't begin to understand. Energy began to build, not in flashy displays of power, but in subtle distortions of space-time itself. Fire. The combined effect of hundreds of quantum convergence beams created a localized point of infinite density, an artificial singularity that existed for less than a microsecond. But it was enough. The Harvester void, trapped in its cage of warped space-time, was torn apart by forces that even it couldn't consume. As the quantum readings returned to normal, Helena turned to face the stunned Meridian commander. That was one Harvester. There are thousands more coming. Still think humanity's technology is primitive. The silence from the Meridian flagship was answer enough. The age of underestimating humanity was over. The real war was about to begin. The Galactic Council's emergency session chamber was barely recognizable. Gone were the ornate displays of power and technological achievement. In their place stood stark holographic projections showing the advancing Harvester swarms. Over the past month, 17 major systems had gone dark, despite humanity's best efforts to teach other civilizations their quantum masking techniques. "We're losing this war," High Counselor Zixtal stated bluntly, his crystalline form dulled with exhaustion. "Even with Earth's advanced technology, we cannot protect every system. The Harvesters are adapting to our quantum masking techniques." Admiral Helena Chen stood before the Council, her uniform bearing the scars of recent battles. "You're right, Counselor. We can't win this war defensively. That's why we're implementing Operation Darkstar." The chamber fell silent. For the past week, the human fleet had been withdrawing from defensive positions across the galaxy, a move that had caused panic among many civilizations. Now, they would learn why. 20 years ago, Helena continued, activating a secure holographic display. "When we first detected the Harvesters, we didn't just develop defensive technology. We studied them. We learned how they think, how they hunt, how they communicate, and most importantly, we learned what they fear." The display showed a massive structure hidden in the void between spiral arms of the galaxy. It was unlike anything the Council had ever seen, a construct that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. "Project Darkstar," Helena explained, "is not a weapon in the conventional sense. It's a quantum resonance amplifier. The Harvesters are drawn to quantum signatures of advanced technology. We're going to give them exactly what they want, all at once." Understanding dawned on the faces of the Council members. "You're going to create a trap," Zixtal realized. "But the energy requirements for such a device would be impossible using conventional technology," Helena agreed. "That's why we needed your help. Every ship, every station, every quantum core that's been retrofitted with our masking technology over the past month, they're not just defensive measures. They're power nodes for Darkstar." The display shifted, showing a complex network of quantum energy connections spanning the galaxy. Every civilization that had accepted humanity's help had unknowingly become part of something far larger. "When Darkstar activates," Helena continued, "it will create a quantum signature so powerful that every Harvester in the galaxy will be drawn to it. They won't be able to resist. And when they arrive—" She didn't need to finish the sentence. The Council members could see the trap laid out before them, beautiful in its complexity, terrifying in its audacity. "You're going to create an artificial quantum singularity," one of the Council's chief scientists breathed. "One powerful enough to tear a hole between dimensions," Helena confirmed. "The Harvesters exist partially outside normal spacetime. We're going to use that against them, give them exactly what they want, and then send them somewhere they can never return from. The chamber erupted in a mixture of hope and fear. The plan was audacious, impossible by any conventional standards. But humanity had already proven that impossible was their specialty. "There's a cost," Helena continued, her voice cutting through the chaos. "The energy drain will burn out every quantum core connected to the network, every ship, every station. They'll be reduced to their most basic systems. The galaxy's technological level will be set back by centuries." The silence that followed was deafening. The price of victory would be the very advancement that had defined these civilizations for millennia. Unless, Helena added, allowing a small smile, those systems were designed to burn out from the beginning. She gestured, and new schematics appeared, modifications to quantum cores that humanity had been subtly implementing during their defensive retrofits, systems designed to appear destroyed while preserving their essential functions. "Another deception," Zixtal noted, but there was admiration in his tone now. "You've been planning this since the beginning." "Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology," Helena replied. "It's our ability to plan, to adapt, to deceive when necessary. The harvesters think they understand advanced civilizations. They expect pride. They expect direct confrontation. They don't expect a trap 20 years in the making." Warning signals flashed across the chamber's displays. The harvester swarms were accelerating their advance, drawn by the faint quantum signatures they could still detect. "We have 12 hours until Darkstar reaches full power," Helena announced. 12 hours to complete the final preparations. Every civilization connected to the network needs to be ready. When this begins, there's no turning back. The council members exchanged looks. For millennia, they had considered themselves the height of galactic civilization. Now they were about to put their fate in the hands of a species they had dismissed as primitives just months ago. "The harvesters thought they were hunting us," Helena concluded. "They never realized they were being led into a trap 2 decades in the making. It's time to show them why humanity's greatest weapon was never our technology. It was our patience." As the council chambers emptied, the massive form of Darkstar hung in a holographic display, a testament to human ingenuity and the power of planned deception. In 12 hours, it would either save the galaxy or tear it apart. Either way, the age of underestimating humanity was over. The galaxy held its breath. Project Darkstar pulsed with the combined quantum energy of 1,000 civilizations, its massive structure a beacon in the void between spiral arms. On the bridge of the Artemis, Admiral Helena Chen watched as the final power readings approached critical levels. Every ship, every station, every quantum core in known space was connected to the network, feeding power into humanity's greatest gambit. "Harvester swarms are responding exactly as predicted," Commander Rodriguez reported, his voice tight with tension. "They're altering course toward Darkstar. All of them." Helena nodded, watching as countless void signatures changed direction, drawn inexorably toward the quantum beacon humanity had spent 20 years preparing. The harvesters couldn't resist such a massive concentration of energy. Exactly as planned. "Status of the emergency backup systems?" she asked. "All civilizations report ready," Rodriguez confirmed. "The quantum core shielding is in place. When Darkstar activates, it will look like every advanced system in the galaxy has been burned out. The harvesters will think they've won, right until the moment they realize they've lost." The main display showed the approaching swarms as massive distortions in spacetime. There were more of them than even humanity's most pessimistic estimates had predicted. Thousands of void entities, each capable of consuming entire star systems, all converging on a single point. "Send the final warning to all connected systems," Helena ordered. "Quantum shutdown protocols on my mark. From this point forward, we're betting everything on 20 years of preparation." Across the galaxy, civilizations that had once mocked humanity's primitive technology now placed their trust entirely in human hands. The Arcturus Dominion, the Meridian Collective, the Tellarite Consensus, all waited for Helena's command. their quantum cores ready to simulate complete destruction while preserving their essential functions. First wave of harvesters entering the target zone, Rodriguez announced. Second wave right behind them. They're moving faster than we've ever seen them move before. Helena allowed herself a grim smile. They're hungry. The quantum signature we're generating is like nothing they've ever encountered. Time to show them why you should never underestimate humanity's capacity for deception. The void entities swarmed around Darkstar, their impossible geometries distorting space itself as they prepared to feed on what they thought was the greatest concentration of quantum energy in galactic history. Now, Helena commanded. Across the galaxy, every quantum core simultaneously executed their shutdown protocols. To the Harvester's senses, it would appear as though they had succeeded beyond their wildest dreams. Every advanced civilization in the galaxy apparently reduced to pre-industrial levels in an instant. But that was just the beginning. Darkstar primary sequence initiated, Rodriguez reported. Point of no return in 5, 4, 3. The massive structure began to pulse with energies that defied conventional physics. The Harvesters, already committed to their feeding frenzy, never had a chance to retreat. 2, 1. Darkstar activation. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then reality itself began to tear. The quantum singularity that formed was unlike anything ever created by natural or artificial means. It existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Its gravitational pull focused specifically on the unique quantum frequency of the Harvester entities. It's working, Rodriguez breathed, watching as the void entities were drawn inexorably into the dimensional rift. They can't resist the pull. Their own trans-dimensional nature is being used against them. Helena watched the sensors as Harvester after Harvester was pulled into the rift. Some tried to flee, but the singularity had been calibrated specifically to their quantum frequency. There was no escape. Status of civilian systems, she demanded. Quantum cores across the galaxy are reporting successful simulation of burnout, Rodriguez confirmed. The backup systems are holding. We're getting check-ins from every major civilization. They're scared, but they're alive. The process took hours. Helena stood watch as the last of the Harvesters were drawn into the rift, their impossible forms twisted and compressed by forces they had never encountered in all their eons of hunting advanced civilizations. Finally, the sensors showed what they had hoped for: 0 Harvester signatures in the galaxy. Initiate Darkstar shutdown sequence, Helena ordered. Send the all-clear signal to connected systems. Tell them it's time to rebuild. Together. As the quantum cores across the galaxy came back online, revealing that their destruction had been yet another carefully planned deception, the true magnitude of what humanity had accomplished began to sink in. They had saved the galaxy not through overwhelming force or superior technology, but through patience, planning, and the willingness to appear weak while building their strength in secret. In the days that followed, the Galactic Council convened again, not in their grand chamber, but in a simple meeting room on Earth. The message was clear. The old hierarchies, the old prejudices about primitive and advanced species were gone. We owe humanity an apology, High Counselor Zixtal announced to the assembled representatives. And more than that, we owe them our trust. They sacrificed 2 decades of advancement, endured our mockery, all to prepare for a threat we refused to see until it was almost too late. Helena, standing before the council one final time, shook her head. No apologies needed, Counselor. What matters now is what we build together. The Harvesters are gone, but they're not the only threat in this universe. Next time, though, we face it united from the start. As the council chamber erupted in agreement, Helena looked out at the representatives of 1,000 civilizations, no longer divided by prejudice or pride, but united in purpose and understanding. The deception was over. The masks were off. And in their place, something new was being born. A galactic civilization that understood strength wasn't about showing off your advanced technology, but about knowing when to hide it, when to use it, and most importantly, when to share it. The age of division was over. The age of unity had begun.